Okay, we're starting a new unit today, Unit 11. Unit 11, the topic is all about circles. So 11-1, we just kind of get into the basics of it. And so we start by looking at some terminology. First of all, a circle is the set of all points in a plane that are a certain distance from a fixed point. So like for example, if this is my fixed point, then I say all of the points that are exactly 5 centimeters away from this point are the points that form a circle. So in other words, if I go 5 this way, there's a point. 5 this way, there's a point. 5 this way, 5 this way, 5 this way, 5 this way. So once I get all of those points that are exactly 5 centimeters away from that center, then those are the points that are on my circle. So that's how it's defined geometrically. A radius is a segment whose endpoints are the center and a point on the circle. So the example, there are several examples that we can look at of a radius. AE, that segment is a radius. AF is a radius. AB is a radius. Now, radius most people are familiar with. One word that you may not be familiar with is chord. And a chord is a segment whose endpoints are on the circle. A segment whose endpoints are on the circle. Like for example, segment CD, the endpoints are on the circle. Segment EF, the endpoints are on the circle. So if the endpoints are on the circle, then that would be considered a chord. Diameter is just a chord that goes through the center of the circle. So EF would be considered a diameter. Okay? Circles are named by their center point. And so this circle would be called circle A. Here's the notation for it. You draw a circle, put a point in the middle, and then put the correct letter after it. So this would be circle A. They're named by their center point. Okay, a couple of formulas. The formula for circumference, and remember you can think of circumference as the perimeter or the distance around the circle. Circumference equal to 2 pi r, so 2 pi times the radius. And the alternate formula is in terms of the diameter, circumference equals pi times diameter. So either one of those would give you the circumference. If you know the radius, use that one. If you know the diameter, use that one. All right. The area, which is the space inside the circle, is pi r squared. We've looked at this formula in an earlier unit, and you've probably seen this formula from the time you were in 6th grade. Okay. Find the circumference and the area is our task. And so when we're asked to find the circumference, then I need to look at what they've given me. AC is 24. So AC is all the way across. So which circumference formula am I going to use? Is AC the radius or is AC the diameter? So AC all the way across, that's the diameter. So that means I'm going to use the second circumference formula. And it'll look like this. C equals pi times 24. All right, so my diameter is 24. And so the proper way to write the answer would be 24 pi. Now, you could stick that in a calculator and press enter and get 75.4, depending on how the answer choices are given to you or what the directions of how the questions asked you to answer it. So this is the answer in terms of pi. This is the answer in terms of a decimal. You could see answer choices that are either way. So for example, your answer choices could be 16 pi, 24 pi, 28 pi, 42 pi. You got to know that the answer is 24 pi. Or the answers could be 68.2, 75.4, 96.3. You know, it could be either way. So just make sure that you understand that you've got to be able to convert from terms of pi to decimal. All right. So like I say, you could see the answer either way. And just remember that 24 pi is not the same as 24. Okay? If the answer is 24 pi and you just put 24, that's not the same because the answer is 75, not 24. You see what I mean? So 24 pi is 75.4. So that's what I need you to make sure you understand. 24 and 24 pi is definitely not the same thing. So keep that in mind. We're asked to do two things. We need to find the area. Area is equal to pi times the radius squared. Well, if the diameter is 24, the radius is half of that. 12 squared. So my area here would be equal to 12 squared is 144. 144 pi or if you put it into a calculator and get a decimal, 452.39 is our answer. So there you go. Okay. So just a few more questions, kind of the same type of question. We're asked to find the circumference and the area of a circle with a given radius or diameter. So if our radius is 5, okay, then my circumference is going to be 2 pi times that radius, which is 5, which will make my answer 10 pi. Or as a decimal, you would get 31.42. Okay? So we need the area, which is pi times 5 squared, 25 pi. Or as a decimal, if you threw that into a calculator, you would get 78.54. Like I say, we need to be able to do it in both forms. What about if the diameter is 20? If the diameter is 20, I would use the diameter formula for circumference, which is pi times 20. Makes my circumference 20 pi. Or, as a decimal, that would be 62.83. And for the area, remember area is equal to pi r squared. So that'd be pi times 20 squared. And I need to change that because the diameter that they've given me is 20, so that would force the radius to be 10. So don't make that mistake like I just did. So remember, if they give you diameter, make sure you cut it in half if you're plugging in the radius. 100 pi. Or as a decimal, 314.16. All right. What about if the diameter is 32? If the diameter is 32, I'd use the diameter circumference formula. Pi times 32, which would be 32 pi. The choices could be decimals. And if they are, you just throw that in the calculator, 32 pi, press enter, and get 100.53. What about for the area? Area is pi times the radius. So if the diameter is 32, the radius is 16. Remember, be careful with that because you'll get the wrong answer if you put 32. 16 squared, that's 256 pi. Make it a decimal. 804.25. Alright, so there you go. Alright, so now we come to a problem that is a little bit different. Okay, so this problem now says find the radius of the circle with the given circumference or area. See, last time we were asked to find the area given the radius of the circumference. Okay, so now we're asked to find the radius, okay, with the given circumference or area. Okay, so let's think about this for a minute. They're telling us the area is 36 pi. What are we asked to find again? The radius. So if they give me the area, I need to use the area formula, plug in the area, and solve for the r. So again, they asked me to find the radius, and they're giving me the area. So I need to use the area formula, which has the radius in it, pi r squared. Oops. All right, so area equals pi r squared. Plug in the area, 36 pi equals to pi r squared. Okay, so in order to finish this, I now have an equation that I can solve for r because I've plugged in the area. They've given me the area. I'm trying to find the radius. So if I wanted to solve this for r, the first thing I need to do is divide both sides by pi. That will make the pi's cancel out. And then now I know that r squared is equal to 36. Now I'm ready to take the square root of both sides. And so r is going to be equal to 6. And then that's your answer. Okay? So again, take the formula, plug in the part that they give you, solve for the r. This time they give me the circumference is 24 pi, so I'm going to use the circumference formula. Now remember, we had two circumference formulas, so which one do we need to use? We need to use the one with the r in it because they asked me to find the radius, so I'll use this one. C equals 2 pi r. So here's my formula. C equals 2 pi r. They've given me the circumference. 24 pi goes for C. And r is what we're looking for. 2 pi. And so my r is going to be equal to 12. So there you go. All right, so that's it. Those are the types of problems. We just jump into kind of the beginning part of the circles. And like I said earlier, this entire unit is going to be about circles. So now you should be ready for your quiz.